Hello, everyone. My name is Jada Eason, and welcome back to my Storytime series under the surveillance in Jackson, Mississippi. In today's episode, I want to talk about another situation that deeply affected me and raised serious concerns about trust, family, relationships, and personal boundaries. This story involves a set of keys that belong to me, and the set of keys were a picture of me and my father. I had to be at Provine. No, I had to be at Northwest Middle School. Maybe not. Maybe sixth grade. Maybe around sixth grade-ish. I had a silver cap in the front. My daddy working at Ruby Tuesday in Northbrook Mall. That was a while back. And when you could buy the big keychains in the middle of the mall, it was back then. I was in elementary. I might have been like in fifth grade, but it was back in the day when Ruby Tuesday was in Northport Mall, and you could buy those big keychains with the picture of yourself on. And that was the only picture I had of me and him. And my cousin, who stays at my mother and my grandmother's property, on and off, I believe and I allege and I believe so that she took my keys. So at the time, I moved. In my early 20s. I'm 30 today. Today is my birthday, May 30th. 30 on 30. I went off to college at USM. I ended up becoming a hairstylist though. But I went off to college and I didn't take those keys. I left them here in my room where I grew up at. I've been in the same at my grandmother's and mother properties where I grew up at all my life, 30 years. If not, I was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, or Frisco, Texas. So when I went down to Hattiesburg, I stayed there for almost 5 years. Almost, I was about 25. I was 24 in about 7 months. And I moved. And I left those keys here in my room. So the night I was packing up for Frisco, Texas, which was 2022 November, I moved back. Yeah, 2022 November, I was packing up to move to Frisco. I was right at 26. And I was looking for those keys because I wanted to take those keys this time. I was a little older. I knew I could keep up with them. I knew I wasn't probably doing too much moving. I just wanted to take those keys, and I was going through all my old stuff. Like I was seeing old vans, the vans that come all the way up to your kneecap. Like I was just seeing a lot of stuff, throwing things in the garbage, all type of things, and just cleaning out a lot of my old area. And I was looking for those keys because I knew I lived in a green bin, and I noticed that they were gone. And so right before, I had moved to my place. I had moved to another place in Frisco. I had two places down there. I moved again, and I was organizing my stuff in Frisco, Texas, and I noticed that I still didn't have my keys. And I was like, it started to dawn on me, like, okay, they weren't there before you moved in 22. It's 25, and I'm still in Frisco. It's 25, and I'm like, where are my keys at? They keep coming back to me. And so I kind of was having thoughts about a cousin of mine taking my keys. And I was like, you know how you don't really think a cousin would take something from you or take something like that, but she's real mean. When I did have my salon studio and stuff, she did come and support with her kids. I done took her kids baths. I done did their hair, all type of stuff. I was like, would she steal from me? But it kept coming to me that she stole my keys to be that mean, to steal something of sentimental value. So I've been going through that, and then my other cousin, I'm a cosmetologist, stole my hair. That I talked about on the previous video. And this story and events that I believe connected back to my father's side of the family also. At the time, I began noticing circumstances that left me many unanswered questions about who had access to my property, how that access was obtained, and whether information or items connected to me were being shared without my knowledge or permission. As I started putting pieces together, I became concerned that people I knew, including family members, may have played a role in a situation that affected my privacy and sense of security. These concerns eventually led to me to look more closely at relationships, interactions, events that I had previously overlooked. then I go back and I was like, did I overlook it? I feel like that night before I moved and I noticed that I didn't have them, because it was kind of like the night before I kind of was late, cleaning up or packing, but I had packed up a lot. I had a lot of stuff. Probably had started packing a week before, but it was just a certain part, which was like, I would say my Northwest stuff, my middle school stuff that I was going through. I noticed that I was kind of late the night before going through that, and I was like, it wasn't there. And in this episode, I just wanted to share my experience and my timeline and explain why these events stood out to me, and discuss how they impacted my trust in certain individuals. I will also explain why I believe these experiences became part of a larger pattern that influenced my journey as an entrepreneur and becoming a community advocate, because I did turn her into the proper authorities. And then, so 25, when I was going through my stuff again, and I'm like, I really want them keys of me and my father. That's the only picture I got of me and him side by side. That's the only picture I have. So kind of hard to forget. And I was like, I called her when I made it back home. And when I made it back home, it was like October 2025. And I called her and I was like, do you got my keys? And she was kind of like screaming at the top of her lungs. And we were streaming back and forth. And she kind of came over by the house and just streaming back and forth. And then I also believe she got access to a site of my personal identification information, which is earthrising.life. This site is something I learned about in 2025, probably around September. So I had this experience in 2000. Stay tuned for part 3.